Hi friends, welcome to Gilded Loop Crochet. My name is Matt. If you're returning, welcome again. I'm so glad that you're here, and if you're new, welcome. Stay a while. Today we're going to be going ahead and doing a unboxing of some new crochet hooks that I purchased, which you might be able to tell from the description. And we're also going to be comparing and doing a little bit of a review to some of the other hooks that I have. And I'll also show you a dupe or a little bit of a comparison for a product that I recently purchased on Amazon. And I'll give you my honest opinion of everything, of course. So first off, those who have been watching my channel for a while know that I am a stan for Susan Bates ergonomic hooks. It's what I use primarily. And if you're unfamiliar with what those look like, they are these. So a Susan Bates ergonomic hook, the thing that I like best about them is they are longer than a traditional crochet hook. So this is a value hook. This is a boy hook. And they are a little bit longer than the boy hook. This is a clover hook, and they are absolutely longer than the clover hook. What I really like about the Susan Bates ergonomic hooks is they have this rubber grip on them, which makes it comfortable, because when you're crocheting with just your standard hook like this, just your standard metal hook, look at the end of that metal hook. Most of them look like that. They're very, I can't say sharp, but they're very rigid, I guess, on the end, and they end up cutting into my hand the way that I hold my hook, like right here. And I've even had it like create like a callus before, and so that was annoying. So I tried out these Susan Bates hooks. Now the Susan Bates hooks is what got me into the inline hooks. Now there is a primary difference between, this is a clover hook and this is the Susan Bates. So here is, let me try to get these up. I hopefully give it a second for the camera to focus. Your Susan Bates hook is the inline hook. You can see it has a lot sharper of an edge right there and pointier tip. And the clover hook here is tapered. It's very rounded. I find that the inline hook, because it's pointy here, allows me to kind of stab into my work a little bit easier. And the inline allows me to grab onto the yarn quicker. So I crochet a lot quicker with an inline hook than I do with a standard tapered hook. Everyone's a little bit different. When it comes to the standard tapered hooks, clover is it. And the reason clover is so amazing with your standard hooks is, I don't know if you can kind of tell the difference. This is a standard hook versus a clover hook. And your main difference here is the clover hook is like a matte finish, and this is like your standard aluminum metal. The major difference is this matte finish, or the coating that they put on this clover hook, makes it glide like butter. So if you've watched any of my videos before, you notice that there are times where I do use a standard tapered clover hook. I always use it with, like, when I'm using Karen Simply Soft, if I'm using any yarn that snags easy, that splits easy, anything along those lines, I'm reaching for my clover hooks, because they just glide like butter, and because they're a tapered hook, they won't snag on things. So there is a time and a place, in my opinion, for those. But these are my go-tos. The other thing that I really like about these is they're color coded. So every size is a different color. So let me grab this one here just to show you. So see, every different size comes in a different color. This pink one, I can spot it from across the room and know it's a 5.5 millimeter. All the 5.5 millimeters are this color. This one is a 6.5 millimeter. I don't even have to look. And see, I don't know if the camera is going to bring that in, but you can see it is, in fact, the 6.5. I can tell from across the room what size my hook is just from the color. This one is a 10. It was nearby because I don't use it very often. So anyway, that's that. Let's go ahead and do our unboxing. Now, these are Furls Crochet hooks. This is an investment. So it's an investment I'm making in myself because these are ergonomic hooks. I've heard people say that you can crochet faster with them. And I've also heard people say that if you have any hand problems, hand cramping, carpal tunnel, arm ligaments, and hand issues, anything like that, people who use the Furls say that they just don't experience that because of the shape of it. It kind of eliminates that. So if you're somebody, and I'll do a shout out to one of my friends who I ran into out in the real world today, who was saying how they were having a problem crocheting, and that they haven't done it a lot recently because it hurts their hands, and have some hand issues. So according to what some of the experts say, is these furl hooks, if you have any issues, are a solution to that. Now, furl hooks are not cheap. In my opinion, I think that they're quite expensive. So they are an investment. So if you're starting out with furls, I recommend that you just buy maybe a couple hooks, maybe the ones that you know that you use the most. Now, I didn't buy the whole line of hooks. I bought like maybe, I think I got 5 hooks. We'll see. Can't quite remember. I got enough to have free shipping and all that. So I haven't even opened this yet. So I'm unboxing this with you all. So I'm going to give you my honest opinion on these Furls hooks. I also bought a dupe off of Amazon that are supposed to be shaped similarly. So I'm going to give you my honest opinion of those, and they are a lot cheaper. So if you're looking for a cheaper alternative, it might be a solution. All right, so I paid $26 per hook. I did end up, because it was my first time ordering with them, they had like, if you sign up for text messaging, they gave you 15% off. So I did get 15% off. I bought 6 hooks, and each hook was $26. I got my 15% off, so that saved me $23.40. So all in for 6 hooks, my subtotal before tax was $132.60. So that's an investment. My clover hooks, I spent, with the different sizes that I got, probably like $75. And with my Susan Bates hooks, those are a little bit more affordable. They're more of a value hook. I got a whole bunch of different sizes, and I would say I probably spent $50 around there, 40 or 50 after I got everything. So anyway, let's go ahead and look at the goodness of furls. So again, I have never even held a furl in my hand. I have just seen all the hype all over YouTube, TikTok, the Instagrams, all that. So they sent me just a little card, pretty much says, "Thank you for my purchase," yada yada. So this is what we look like on the inside. We just have some wrapping here, and everything is wrapped up really nicely. So we'll go ahead. I don't think that's anything in the bottom. So this is what we're working with. Everything's wrapped in this paper. And here are my 6 hooks. They all come individually packaged. I feel like these are packaged like I just bought some like fancy makeup, like an eye, I don't know, an eye wand or something like that. I don't wear makeup, but I've seen a lot of it packaged. Kind of gives off that vibe. But this is what we have. It says it's a streamlined hook. Now, I bought the gold hooks, and I got a special kind of the gold hooks. I bought the matte finish. Oh, this is really pretty. Oh, it's cold. So I got the matte finish Furls Crochet hook. I watched a couple YouTubers who said that if you liked the clover hooks, the matte finish Furls hooks will give you the closest likeness to that. That the regular shiny Furls hooks still glide like butter, like real nice. But if you go with the matte finish, it's going to have that same kind of feel of what you have with the clover hook. So I don't know. I didn't get any polished Furls hooks, so I can't speak to that. But the other reason that I wanted to get the matte finish ones is because I saw some people say that the polish finish, like that you have to like polish it with a little cloth and be careful not to get scratches and stuff on it and all that. And I don't think that I'm really going to experience that as much with the matte finish. So here's what we've got. We've got our inline hook. So we've got, this piece here is like a sharp edge. It's not quite as pointy on the tip as Susan Bates. Let's compare. I think Susan Bates is a little more severe, and you probably should compare to something closer in size. So this is a 7mm L size Furls hook. This is a 6.5, so it's pretty darn close. And what I can see here is the Susan Bates has like a slightly different shape to it, but both are very clearly inline hook. And the Susan Bates is definitely sharper on the top, but this still has a tip to it. They have some weight to them, but they are still like very comfortable in the hand. I can see myself really enjoying these. Now let's test out the length before I start opening the other ones. I love it. So that was my biggest concern that I didn't know about, was I love the length of the Susan Bates ergonomic hooks, and I haven't found that in other hooks. Other hooks tend to be a little bit on the shorter side. And these Furls hooks are pretty darn close, almost identical, maybe even just a smidge bit longer. I mean, maybe by like a millimeter or two. So this is my 7. Let's go ahead and open. Ooh, just sounds so nice. And I also did go ahead and get a holder for this, but not from Furls. So I'm going to share that with you as well. So this one is my 6.5, my K, which is the exact same size as the one I was just fiddling around with that. These hooks are just stunning. They're like jewelry. They're beautiful. I'm a gold person. I have gold accents around my house. I love glitter. I love gold. Some would maybe say that my favorite color is like glitter. But oh yeah, these sound really nice. I even saw that they had some other dupes for these, but the problem was the tips were breaking off of the dupes because they were not made with as high quality as the Furls. The other thing is, even though the Furls are a little bit more expensive, they glide really well. They are made with precision quality, so you're not going to have any little pieces of metal that might snag your yarn or anything at the end, or sometimes you can have that with a more lower quality hook. All right, so now I got a 5.5. So I work a lot with worsted weight, 4 weights, 5 weights, sometimes a 6 weight. This one's a 4.5, and occasionally a 3 weight yarn. I almost never work with sport weight yarn. I have some, but I almost never work with it. So 1 and 2 weight yarns, I don't work with them, and I don't work with anything higher than a 6. So I don't work with the 7s or the uber bulky ones. So I go from a 3 to a 6. So all of these hooks would work for me. So I got my 4.5. This is a G plus. And 4.5, funny story, is I actually had to order a special 4.5 with Susan Bates because they don't come in the regular packages. They come with a 4 and then they jump to a 5. But sometimes you need that in between. I had to like order a special one with Susan Bates, and I had a hard time even finding it. But I use it. So 4.5, because that one's a G plus. I think the 4 is a G, so they call this one a G plus. So I appreciate the fact that I can get that. So 4.5, a 5, a 5.5, 6, 6.5, and then that first one that I showed you, which was the 7. We're gonna definitely do a little test of this in a moment, but I wanted to show you. Let me step over here real quick. This was a little find that I got from Amazon. Some of the Furls holders, my goodness, they get pricey. I know that it's all like handmade stuff. It's like leather or like real wood and stuff, but Papa needed something affordable after spending the money on that. So I found this, and I'll include a link to this. I found this on Amazon, and it was designed to fit these types of hooks. So it was $17, and it has 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 14, 15, 16 holes. And it's on a Lazy Susan, so it spins. And I'll be able to put my hooks in here. They fit. Awesome. And I suppose you can put them in there either way. Ooh. So it fits. However, the one hole didn't want to go all the way in. So it looks like the majority of them are fitting. Well, that could be problematic. So it looks like it fits the majority. My concern would be, oops, don't want you falling. I don't want it to rub off, any of the numbers or anything like that. So, I mean, it's going to fit what I need for now. I would say it fits them in there majority for now, but with the furls, it's not fitting everything in here just right. Around the top, I would say the majority is, but it'll do for now. But eventually, I'll probably want to get another holder. I was just being a little cheap. But anyway, this was $17. I'll include the link just in case you want to do it. It looks like they fit in the majority of them. So anyway, this is what we're dealing with that. Now, don't worry, we're going to do a test on my close-up table of actually working with those hooks. I also was on search for a dupe to the Furls hook, an affordable dupe, and I did find this. These are wooden hooks, but they are shaped just like the Furls. They are inline. They are made out of rosewood, and they seem to be very good quality. I did test them out a little bit, and I will say that they don't glide on the yarn as smooth as I desire, but I don't think any wooden hook glides as smooth as you might traditionally desire. This is a set of, oh, there's a lot of hooks in here. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. There's 13 hooks in here for $40. They're $39.99 on Amazon. They are made by this company called Mars Exports. And they're beautiful. They are rosewood. The size is actually engraved on here, so it's not going to brush away. And it's only engraved in millimeters, so it doesn't have the US sizes on there, but most people know I like the millimeter sizes anyway. They compute in my brain a little bit better. So I can tell you right now, these aren't going to fit in here. I might return this thing to Amazon. I suppose you could do it like that, so you can have them all in there. But, yeah, you could do it like that. I'm probably going to return this thing. But anyway, these are gorgeous hooks. They are wooden hooks. Like I said, I don't know how often I would do that, but if you're someone who's on the search for like a more organic material hook, like a wood, these are a nice little alternative. I bought them because they are shaped very similarly to the furls. So as I'm looking at the shape here, this is thicker than the furls, and the furls has the more bulbous area towards the middle of this, and the bulbous area of this isn't quite towards the middle here. It's a little bit further down, so you can see what I mean. So the shape is similar but not identical. I don't know if that's going to make a difference in the ergonomic handling of the hook, but I also have to be completely honest with you. I've never used a wood crochet hook in my life, ever, until I bought these. So I do think that they're gorgeous. I think they're beautiful. They're great for aesthetic purposes, and I could utilize them, and I might still. We'll see. The judge and jury is still out on these wood hooks, but if you're someone who likes wood hooks, these are affordable, and they look very similar to the furls, and they feel comfortable, and they're extremely lightweight. And again, they're gorgeous, so they might be a good solution for you to have something a little bit more affordable that's ergonomically shaped. All right, well, let's go ahead and go over to my close-up table, and we will do some sample crochet. Okay, let's go ahead and work up with some real yarn with some of our hooks so we can do a proper comparison. Okay, so I have a few different style yarns that we're gonna be working with today. So first, gotta bring in the Red Heart Super Saver. Old Faithful, right? I also have Premier Basics. Premier Basics is one of my favorite kinds of yarn because it's so easy to work with. Can't really do a proper sample without some Karen Simply Soft, the Splitters McGee's As It Bees, and then just a little bit of this Heartland yarn, which I felt was nice to work with. So, I wasn't mad at it. So let's go ahead and do a couple samples here. So I think if we're looking at sizes, I think a 5.5 or 5-ish is going to be right in line. So let's find the 5.5. That's a 5. That is 6. 5.5. All right, so we've got our 5.5, and let me just show you. Sorry if there's a little glare or anything. I know that my ring light has a glare sometimes, but Look how beautiful this is. I'm trying to offset the glare a little bit, but you can really see how you can make out that it says furls, it says the millimeters, and it says the US hook size there. I might be able to get more in line with the US hook sizes because they're real visible. So you can really see even between them. Listen to these when they hit together. It's like these, the whole thing is solid. Solid. They're very, very beautiful. Okay, so we're going to use the I hook 5.5. I have my 5.5 Susan Bates. I have a 5mm clover hook. I don't know where my 5.5 is on that, so we'll have to make do. So we can see our sizes here. See how much shorter the clover is. It's almost comical. Really, to see a close-up again of, let's get a close-up of what each of the tips look like. Just to really focus. Hang on just a second. There we go. So you can really see that the tapered hook here with the clover, and can you really see the major difference between a standard aluminum hook and that tapered clover with the coating that it has on it versus this shiny? It really does make a big difference. These crochet so much slower, but they're very affordable. And then here is the tips of our hooks, so we can really kind of make them out and see. You see how the Susan Bates is so much more dramatic, if you will, than what you can see on this Furls hook. There's the fronts. And if you can really see the tips. Sorry, I'm trying to get it to focus. All right, you can kind of make it out a little bit. See how this is like super, super pointy? And although this has a point, it's not as dramatic. All right, let's go ahead and start with Premier Basics. So I'm just going to go ahead and make a slip knot to get started here. Again, this is literally, you're watching my very first impression. I've never crocheted with a Furls hook in my life. I am, what do they call? I'm a knife grip person. Some people are pencil grip people. I'm a knife grip person. So, oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I'm blown away. Blown away. Oh my gosh. It's so comfortable in my hand. It's gliding like absolute butter. Oh. Oh, that's delightful. Oh yeah, I could really see me loving this. I would really be interested to see what the difference in the polished hook and the matte is. I know some people said the mattes are just a little bit smoother. Yeah, this is definitely smoother. I can definitely tell a less fatigue on my hand. I'll be honest. I didn't think I would be able to tell that. Okay, let me stop with this. I'm going to switch over to Old Faithful and see if I can tell a difference right away. I feel like I will say one thing. I do stab myself with the tip of this quite a bit. So I won't do that with that. And the one thing that has always bothered me about Susan Bates is you see how it's like perfectly round here, and then this actually comes out a little bit where this size measurement is, so it's not like perfectly straight. It's hardly any difference, but still. So, I mean, I can go pretty fast with this. Yeah, I guess if you call this a premium product, you can tell the difference between a Walmart bag and a Coach bag. You can tell the difference between a Coach bag and a Hermes. Well, I've never touched an Hermes bag, but just trying to give you some examples. But my goodness, yeah, that's next level. All right, so I was just doing it with this. Let me test it with my clover hook just to see. And my clover hook is comfortable. See, I always end up going a little bit tighter in my crocheting with my clover hooks. Gosh, it's like, okay, let me try on the boy hook. This is a 5.5 boy. This is like what they sell at Walmart, what most people start with. I'm pretty sure that this is part of my starter pack from like the early 2000s. My boy hook snags and catches on everything so much. Like, hate using it. Go to the value. One thing that I'm noticing is the consistency in my actual stitches is really noticeable. That Furls is very consistent. Sorry, I didn't mean to go out of frame if I did. The Furls feels like it's just very consistent with my stitches. Versus, see, with the different hooks, like this is a little smaller, they're a little bit different sized. But my Furls seems to be giving me very, very consistent stitches, which is really nice. I'll be interested to see if I still like using Furls with my planned pooling projects, because I have to adjust my tension quite a bit when I'm doing that. But so far, color me impressed. All right, we're going to just do a real quick one with the Super Saver. Good old faithful red heart. All right. That's Old Faithful Susan Bates. Switch over to Clover. Still comfortable, smoother, crocheting tighter with the Clover. I don't know what it is. I crochet so much tighter with Clover than I do with Susan Bates. And then this, oh my gosh, it's like I'm not even mad that I'm using Red Heart Super Saver. It's just really, really gliding very effortlessly. And again, so Susan Bates gave me really kind of loose stitches. Clover gave me really tight stitches. And this is giving me just really consistent, like where it should be. I don't know if that's just me, if has anyone else experienced that with using the Furls? Like your stitches are just a little bit more consistent. All right, we're going to go to the Heartland yarn, and then we'll switch over to everyone's favorite, Caron Simply Soft. It snags on everything. I'm not going to be able to go very far with this because my center pool is like caught on something in the yarn ball, but we'll make do. All right, let's go ahead and just 2, 3, 4. switch on over to this. People do say that this yarn splits a little bit. Okay. Just immediately, it's so comfortable to hold. Like I can feel that there's no fatigue in my hand while I'm holding that. I really, really, really like that. Same thing, loose, tight, medium as far as my stitch consistency. All right, lastly, we're going to go to our Caron Simply Soft. And I just realized I forgot to show the stitch examples for the wood, so we'll go back to that in a second here. All right, so let's do... Okay, I'm going at a decent speed. Dropped it, but no snags so far. It's picking everything up pretty comfortably. Go over to this. I like it. I've used it with this before. Clover. Oh, see? Yeah, split. Oh, look how tight that is in comparison to everything else. All right, let's find the wood crochet hooks. All right, so I want to have a 5.5. So these crochet hooks came each one individually wrapped, which is really nice because the problem people have is sometimes tips tend to break off of wooden crochet hooks. So I'm going to pause just for a second while I get this. Well, no, I'll keep you with me while I unwrap it. These do have very much like an artisan feel to them. Like I said, they're beautiful. They're comfortable to hold in the hand. So let's go ahead and look at 5.5. Okay. Oh, it's loud. You can hear the yarn gliding on it. Okay, I don't hate it. I don't hate this with the Caron Simply Soft. Let me try to turn. Let's go in here. Just do like a single crochet. Come on. Okay. Yeah, I don't hate it. It's very nice. You know, if you're looking for an ergonomic hook and you like the idea of having a more organic hook, and you're looking for something that's a little bit more affordable and there's going to be a little bit of a dupe for a furl, get these. I'll put the link. They're $40 and you get what I say, 13 hooks. That's more affordable than the Clover. And I will say that if you have carpal tunnel, this style hook, they don't do nothing. They help a little bit. I found that, honestly, the Susan Bates helped me a little bit more. But this shape is definitely a little bit better. Like I said, this one, the bulbous area is positioned just slightly differently. Let me take this off. And it's bigger. But hey, look at that. Hold on, I'm going to get it to... So you have a nice pointy tip that's very much like the Susan Bates. See? And you've got, it's more handcrafted, but you can see it's pretty nice. It's definitely in line. All right, let's go back and just test this out on the other ones. Okay, I really liked the furls better on the Red Heart Super Saver, but this isn't, yeah, furls is better on that. I think wooden crochet hooks have their moment with the type of yarn that you're working with too. Okay, they're really comfortable on this Heartland yarn. Heartland yarn is a softer yarn. Caron Simply Soft is a softer yarn. So maybe these wooden crochet hooks work really well with the softer yarns. All right, let's just do the Premier Basics just to kind of end on there. And Premier Basics is not a rough yarn. It's not a super soft yarn. It's kind of in between. So, yeah, it's pretty comfortable. Yeah, I'm not mad at it. So when I tested this out, when I first got it, I tested it out on Red Heart Super Saver because that's what is sitting on my desk upstairs with the project that I'm working on. And I wasn't thrilled with it. However, working with some of this other yarn, I do really like it. However, I'm very happy that I bought the furls. These will get a lot of use, and the gold color is just incredibly stunning. I'll have these for decades. Truly, I will. I wanted to really test these out before I went back and bought more sizes. And I do really like them. They are very expensive. I consider $26 per hook expensive, but they are worth it. They're quality. Simply put, it's quality. Now, I don't know if I would spend the $26 on this for some of their other offerings like the resin hooks, or I don't know, maybe some of their wood hooks, because those do have a tendency of tip breakage. But these they're inline hooks. They're fully metal. I think they're aluminum. Listen to that jingle. Jingle, jangle. They're fully metal because they're matte. They're not going to scuff up or scratch. I'm super happy with my purchase. Not happy with this little guy, but I'll probably spend some money to get something better. But anyway, thank you so much for tuning in. Make sure to check the description for links to this if you really want it, or these wooden hooks. I do want to just preface and say all the hooks that you've seen here I purchased with my own money. None of these were gifted to me at all. I just wanted them for my collection. So hopefully you enjoyed, and thank you so much for tuning in. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, all the things, and I'll see you next time. Have a great day. Bye.